I've actually heard I've heard a case that I know someone from our inner circle that they actually end up getting divorced from the whole process of a client trying to do the renovation themselves over years.
Mm,
And that was just the start of the tip of the iceberg. The husband was trying to do the renovation himself over so many years, and it was just obviously not safe to be in there. That's how intense taking on a project of any size if you haven't got the experience. Yeah,
mm.
but it always comes down to cost. But if you're not that person, I would be finding someone like a builder in your town that is the right fit, good communication, and like what Paul said, just set it up at the front end at the start, and there is going to be a bit of chaos, but if you communicate it well,
Mm.
so it's the key is I think that we all know is communication.
Thinking about building or renovating? Or maybe you are already knee-deep in a project now. Are you feeling unsure of which steps to take and if you are making the right calls? You're not alone. Welcome to Builders Beyond Borders, the podcast where experienced Aussie builders share real stories, insider tips, and practical advice so you can build with confidence, avoid costly mistakes, and actually enjoy the journey. Let's dive in.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Builders Beyond Borders podcast. And today, I am joined by Andy from Purway Constructions over there in Perth, Paul from Independent Building Solutions in Canberra, and I'm Hugh from New Homes in Melbourne. And we've got a really quite a challenging topic because we're having conversations with clients, potential clients, and leads, and that sort of thing. And we're sort of seeing what's going on out there, and people are, I guess you could say, they're finding out after they get into a project that there are certain things that they don't know, and they feel like they're being going into a project and going in blindly. And with that brings a lot of questions about whether a client, whether you yourself, the listener, are getting into a project and you're way out of your depth and you feel like you're getting in there blindly and things have gotten out of control. And here we are. We're going to be probably even breaking down some of the stigma that's behind what's going on out there. But as three builders from three different states, we've definitely got some knowledge and some experience to see, well, are we getting the right information out there for everybody that's getting into building so that they can actually not go in blindly and can actually be set up and be prepared for what's coming in front of them. So I might throw it out to the floor at the moment, and anybody can sort of jump in and find out from you guys what's been your experience, and what do you guys see as being one of the top issues or concerns that you might see clients have if they that might be their first time doing any building and they just don't know what's going on.
Mm. I'll go there. Thank you. I'm always going to my latest project that's on the cards, and I was brought into this house by the homeowner from both of them are from South Africa, and the biggest thing was the trust, and they were so overwhelmed at this front end. And when I came up, I was only come up to look at a small job on the project, but we actually ended up getting most of the project working with another company in the house. But what she has learned in this process is they're so time poor, two business people, and what they haven't got is obviously enough time. And she's stressed because she's making last decisions through not working in the process at the front end at how we recommend. So we came in working with another bathroom company. I had to come in and knock some walls, but I ended up getting most of the other house work around the house. But she was so fatigued in all these last minute decisions she had to make. And the project, we're literally nearly finished it. And I did ask her last, I said, what do you know now? And the journey that you're going through with that bathroom company and what we've done. What would you do different? She said, firstly, I would get an interior designer. I would definitely get someone at the front end to help me with all these decisions like skirting boards, floors, paint colors. She said, she was asking me at the end, she's like, what paint color would I choose? And I was like, this is your house. I cannot make that decision for you. This is your choice. And she just said, I didn't think there's so much involved in just this small project. And it's a 12-week project. It's not that big. And it's all internal of the house. So that was it. She was like, first she was worried about the builder and about trusting who I was. She didn't know who I was. Obviously, she had to do some research. But she knew then through the communication of what we were doing in our side of it, she was very happy. So that was ticking that box. Then she was fatigued about decisions because they had no construction background skills. But we're here to help them in that process. And lastly was the budget. She was worried about the budget. Are we aligning to the fixed price contracts as per the bathroom company and for what we've done? And so far, it has gone as per plan. So she's happy with that. So that's what I'm seeing on my latest project. You, I don't know about Paul, but this is just I always like to come to top of mind on the most previous project today with Perway, if that makes sense. So bit of my 2 cents what I'm seeing. What are you seeing, Paul?
Yeah, I think those things you talk about are always the things that come up. There's a lot of things that need to be addressed, and I think that's all part of just building the rapport and building trust at the start, isn't it? To go through all those things with people, and there's a whole long list of things they need to make selections on and decisions on. So you sort of have to run through it. But I sort of do make a point of telling them that it's not a big rush. They don't have to do all of it overnight. They've got plenty of time, particularly things towards the end, like paint colours and stuff. They don't have to worry about picking that at the start. It's just the things that we need to do, and to just tell them the order in which we need things, because they get a little bit overwhelmed when you give them too much at once. So if you just sort of break it down and say, look, these are the things we're going to need before we start. These are the things we're going to need to know not long after we start. And as we go through the job, I can keep you informed and I can give you reminders of what we need and when we need them, sort of thing. So you're not getting sort of flustered and overloaded with trying to make 100 decisions all at once. And I think it's important to sort of try and do that. Some people, it's you've got to get a feel for people too and start to read the way they are, because everyone's different. Some people it's quick and easy and it's nothing to them. Some people it's a really big deal and it gets them all stressed and all worried about time and worried about making right decisions or wrong decisions. So you've got to slow down and work with them through that process and reassure them that, we're here to help you and there's no need to get flustered. There's nothing that has to be done overnight. It's not going to be a life or death situation with any of this stuff. So just run through all that sort of stuff with them. And, it's the same as if it's a renovation or extension too, you've got to run through the inconvenience side of things. It's going to be inconvenient. It's going to be dusty. It's going to be noisy. It's going to be messy. It's very disruptive to your lifestyle. There's just no sugarcoating that. You've got to explain it and just say, look, it is what it is. And if you can't put up with it, well, you might need to move out. If you can put up with it, well, that's right. That's fine. Because, some people, it's water off a duck's back. Some people, it's just a major stress to them. So you got to get to know them, and that's where we need to sit down and talk to them about how it all works. And you get a feel for them by their reactions as to how they're going to cope or not cope with certain situations, and just work with them from there. Some people will probably require a lot more nurturing and help than others. That's just, the nature of people, isn't it?
No, exactly, Paul. Thank you for that. So obviously you're hosting for us here. Like, give us some insights from your side of the neck of the woods. Like, what are you seeing?
Yeah, well, it's funny. As you guys have been chatting, I've been taking some notes, and as a good host should do, take the notes and make sure we're on top of things. But no, I was just going through it because while you're there, sort of discussing a most recent event for you, Andy and Paul, very similar sort of thing. It just gets the brain ringing, and like literally this morning, I was having a conversation with a client that's their first time. Their first time doing any kind of building work, and so it's a whole new experience. And I guess this is what sort of brings up the whole topic, and where they're asking the questions because they haven't been through it. And this guy's he's pretty switched on when it comes to everything, but he's obviously doing everything for his family, and he wants to make sure that he gets the best results. So he is asking the questions, and he's asking questions that most people will be asking, but that also leads on to the questions that people aren't asking as well. So, for instance, he was asking about the process and what's going to be coming up in front of me and what sort of timeline we're going to be looking at to be able to sort of get all that sort of thing done. And while we can stand there and we can let them know, hey, look, we've got probably 6 months of town planning that we've got to go through to be able to sort of get us to the point where we can start actually getting rock solid calculations done for the cost. We've gone through your selections and we've made sure that, okay, well, we've got all the documentation that we need to be able to put a building contract together. We've got town planning approval, so all the documentation is going to be there. So we can show that, and we can demonstrate the process when it comes to that. But in that, we already know that just getting town planning for a project is a big step, and we're at the will of another sort of governing body when it comes to a council or town planning departments at council, where they're sort of like a law unto themselves, and so being able to explain that and navigate that with clients can be quite challenging, and it was just really good to sort of have that information and be able to sort of pass that on relatively easily. It also just sort of galvanizes that, hey, look, are all builders actually getting the information across to clients when they sort of start talking about a project, or are they not doing it? And how much responsibility actually falls onto a builder to actually be passing a lot of this stuff on? Because once we start getting into it and you start doing selections and that sort of thing, like what you said, you mentioned there, Andy, about the client sort of thinking that it'd be one of the first things that they do is go and get an interior designer. And there's a very good case to show that that's a really smart way to actually be able to get a good result, because an interior designer, what are they going to do? Go through the selections with them, navigate that, and let them know this is some of the things that you should be thinking about. Some of the things that as a builder, we don't necessarily always think about. And some of that information needs to get across to people very, very quickly. And if it's not, then what happens down the line? Well, we know what happens down the line. Relationships break down, and things don't go well, and arguments happen, and people get upset, and we don't want to see that happen.
I've actually heard I've heard a case that I know someone from our inner circle that they actually end up getting divorced from the whole process of a client trying to do the renovation themselves over years.
Mm.
And that was just the start of the tip of the iceberg. The husband was trying to do the renovation himself over so many years, and it was just obviously not safe to be in there. That's how intense taking on a project of any size if you haven't got the experience. Yeah.
Mm.
But it always comes down to costs. If you haven't got the funds for it, go for it. I've met so many people. I imagine you have too, guys. Is they went for it and they've done the renovation and they're very happy with the process. And if you're that person, well done. But if you're not that person, I would be finding someone like a builder in your town that is the right fit, good communication, and like what Paul said, just set it up at the front end at the start, and there is going to be a bit of chaos, but if you communicate it well, so it's the key is I think that we all know is communication, and for us, I don't know about you guys, the question is the communication. Every Friday now we do a report to every job, and it's very quick. AI is amazing, so I can do a talking to my phone, transcribe it, send it to the team, and then they'll butter it up, ready to send to the client. And every Friday, the clients get that, and they just love to know what happened during the week, and it's documented, and then what's happened next week. Now, does that always happen? No, for next week, but at least the clients know what's happening for the next week. Have you used that kind of process for your clients yet, man?
Sure do.
Yeah.
Every Friday we have a very similar thing. So we've got it scheduled in so that things get prepared on the Thursday, and then the emails, and whether it's a phone call as well, that goes out on a Friday, and everybody sort of sees what progress has happened. Are we on schedule? Is there any concerns? Is there anything that we need from the client as well? That's probably one of the big things that goes in there is because if as we know, if there's selections that are getting done as part of the whole process of the construction itself, even in preliminary stuff, we've got preliminary works and we do the same thing. And communication's really key for that.
We give the clients access to our construction software too now, and we run a site diary. So that's something I'm trying to encourage more and more, and get the guys to put photos and notes and things on every day of what's going on site, where the progress is at, and that clients can access that and they can see every day what's happening, who's there, what's being done. by the notes we send backwards and forwards to each other, and by photos that the guys load every day. Because I think, ongoing communication is very important. Some people really want it. Again, like I said before, some people don't, but I think if it's there, you've got access to it if you need it. And if you don't, you don't access it, but it's also just so that nothing's going to, if someone's not happy about something or something's festering, it'll get worse and worse. It'll snowball. So that's the other thing why we need to keep the communication lines open fairly regularly so people know what's going on, and make sure we tell them that, if you're not happy about something or change something or you're concerned about something, make sure you let us know before it gets into a bigger problem than what it really needs to be, and nip it in the bud before it is, and everyone's happy then. So, and some people get a little bit hesitant about changing their mind all the time, because some people change their mind a lot. And I'm pretty good with it because I'm used to it. I've been doing it all my life. And I just say to them, I said, look, I don't think I've ever done a job if someone doesn't change their mind. It's not the end of the world. Just let us know early. Let us know before something's done. Because if you want to change it after the fact, obviously it's a lot more of a project, a lot more of a process, and a lot more of a cost. Whereas if you think you want to change something, just make sure you run it by me first. If you can't do it, or it's not going to work out, or there's an issue, then I can tell you. But it's better than stewing on it and thinking about it and then getting in thinking, I wish I had to change that. And so, well, now it's going to cost you a fortune to change it, whereas you could have changed it quite simply back before it was done. So
Absolutely gold.
That's,
If anyone's listening to that, that's the little nugget there from Paul. Just that little piece. That is exactly what future homeowners build in the next so many years. That's the nugget, is communicate there and don't do anything drastic. Be upfront, let the builder know what's happening. And a builder's there to help you to build your dream house. He's not against you, So, yeah, I don't know about you guys. For the last 6 years since we are a part of their builders group, I find really my hands are around the clients, and I'm really there to protect them and make sure that we deliver the project what they deserve. We have some amazing clients through the whole process of this. So, but it's so good to hear from you guys what you're doing too. It's different states. It's pretty amazing to hear.
Just going back to what Paul's sort of mentioning there, it was one of those really interesting things with the communication. I absolutely love it from the aspect that being able to sort of communicate people and get your arms around them, like you're saying there, Andy, is how we can deliver on our promise as builders to be getting the homes that people want to live in and get a good experience. It always comes back to over communicating and being able to be on the same page as the people that we're working with. And couldn't agree more that sort of like the gold nuggets that you got right there, Paul, is that, we really do need that more and more. And a lot of that's lost out there at the moment. And that's probably why we sort of see people going into things and they are blind, because they may be sort of in the, I guess you could say, in the wrong room, in the wrong crowd, to be able to sort of get the best advice and to be able to sort of get the best outcomes. And that's a scary proposition in itself for the people involved.
I think too, you is that people are so busy. I don't know, I have kids. I have 3 kids. The sports take a lot out of us now. And imagine trying to build a house with no background in this game, because imagine all the I always say the dominoes. You take one domino out trying to manage one of your jobs, you're just pushing your job up months and months again. We're very lucky if one of the dominoes come out, and it can happen very quickly, as you know, that we can actually pick it back up again and get the time back. As for homeowners trying to manage this, if a domino falls, the whole rest of the dominoes are falling ahead, and it takes a long time to pick them back. And that's why people get so frustrated about the building game, blaming tradies and builders and everyone else. But you just have to realize us builders have the communication better with all our trades, and we can actually get someone in to come in much more efficient and quicker if we need it. So yeah, that's something that I've been listening to around the school events. What people talk about is, are you building or renovating? Is your builder good? Is he not good? What has he done wrong? What has he done right? So I've heard a few of them stories now around the school gardens, because that's a lot of chit chat. So the nugget I've taken from today is from Paul, is the communication. So
brilliant.
Yeah, well, I guess you just learn these things over the years, don't you, from experience. I mean, when things go wrong and things don't turn out the way you plan on them turning out, then that's where we need to pick up and learn. That's what life's all about in any sort of area, isn't it? Learn from your mistakes and don't do it again. So, yeah. it's all just experience. Comes down to experience. You know, I get a lot of people saying to me, "Oh, I've had all these builders around say you can't do this and you can't do that." It's just because they don't want to do it, or maybe they don't know how to do it. I don't know, but I just tell them the truth. Like, you can do anything you want to do, but it might be just not viable cost wise, or might not be practical. But so you just got to explain to them the do's and don'ts, or why you can or why you can't, or why you should or why you shouldn't. I should say, like I say, you can do anything you want, but you might be wasting your money. So you've got to explain things to them properly so they understand. So it seems that most guys don't do it, from the feedback I get from my customers anyway.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to some of that communication level as well, I don't know if you guys have heard and probably experienced a very similar thing yourselves. Not saying that you guys are culprits for this, but it's the lack of communication from trades and builders getting back to people.
Yeah,
And
well, I think that's what I was saying. We were culprits. I know I
Mm.
was, and that's what you learn from it. This is not the right way to do it. We need to keep the communication open, because it saves a lot of problems.
Yeah, definitely. And the only reason that I sort of bring that one up is because I was literally having a conversation with one of the neighbours at a project yesterday, and she's looking to get some work done on her house, and she has the conversation with me. I see her walking her dog every day, and she just goes, "It's getting so hard to actually get somebody out to either look at the job that needs to be done, or just to actually get a quote from them, or for them to even just say, no, we're not interested, or it's not, we don't do that type of work or anything like that." Can get a quick conversation with somebody, but it's almost like sometimes these guys, they can't be truthful and be upfront and communicate well at all with a client or a potential a client or a lead or anything like that. It's, I don't know, the bar's not that high.
No, it's not. But you have to realize we invested into ourselves to get business coaching,
Mm.
to understand from the client's point of view and step in that area of shoes, because now we know that is a key issue for clients, is the communication. Why you're not getting back?
Mm.
Unfortunately, tradies, we've been there. When you're busy and you're flat out, which you right now in Australia, everyone's so busy that people are picky right now. People can be picky,
Yep.
and they can throw a message into a text message going, "Hey, this is the price for it. If you want it, let's go." And that's what people are doing,
Mm.
because it takes time. It takes time. And I hear all the time going, "Why are tradies charging for quotes?" And that's another podcast. But the time and energy it takes for a builder to come to site, to do a quote, to propose it back, you could do 5 to 10 hours of free work for someone, and people expect that for free. And but again, I think that's another podcast. We can go down the rabbit hole on that one.
Yeah.
But I find when you come through the service with Perway, and you know that's what you're going to get. So that's another podcast.
Well, I guess that leads on to how easily is your process, and I guess you could say just a general building process. How easily do you guys find that you can communicate that with leads, potential clients, and your clients?
Yeah. So now we have a system that comes through. People have to fill out the questionnaire to figure out first if even if they're the right person, right location, right budget, because we don't do hundreds of projects a year. So we have to be very mindful of who's going to come into that next step after that. If the questionnaire is not the right fit, we will send you a message saying you are not the right fit, and we'll tell them. But then after that, they'll book themselves into a call with us, a discovery call, and then I will take that call and I will make a decision after the call if we're going to go to the next stage, which is an on-site consultation. And myself and my one of the girls in the office comes out as a team, and we bring them through the process of how it should work for you, and we tell them all the consultants that they're going to need moving forward, which is concepts, engineering. You need to spend some money to get ready for us to get what's in your head on drawing, so we can price up the job, the cost, where it could be at. And I found so many times since COVID, everyone's price that they put into our questionnaire is never at the price where the price is going to be for that build. So someone might have 400,000 or 500,000, it's around 700,000 or 800,000. And people are blaming me, going, "Oh, you builders are making so much money." We're not making as much money as you think you are. But
Well, that's a whole other podcast
course.
right there.
Yeah.
Just going into
Yeah.
what the margin of what a builder actually makes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. But that took 5 years. That took 5 or 6 years to get this process, and we're always fine-tuning it. Like, where can we improve on the client's process?
Mhm.
But again, we bring them down through, we show them what you're getting in the package with us. But that's a little debrief in a nutshell for us. I don't know about Paul. I think it's nearly the same, but yeah, I tell people, I said, you're going to come in a relationship with me. I want to make sure you're the right fit for me and my team. I'm very selective now who I bring into our around us, because the energy this is going to take for me to not give your house a renovation is going to be 1 year to 1.5 years. And if you're not connecting at the front end with your builder and the client, not the right fit.
Yeah. How do you see things, Paul?
Yeah, well, that's the same thing. We do the same process, and I think we have learned too over the years with the coaching and that we've had, that it's really more important to say no than it is to say yes. I think that's where a lot of people get themselves into trouble. They want to do all the work, they want to say yes to everyone, and then they really can't cope with it. They can't manage it, and then they get all these clients that are all different, from different angles and different directions, and it's really not a compatible fit. So it's very good to have a bit of a process whereby you can qualify. You qualify yourself as well as them to just make sure you are a good fit, because it's like you say about the bar not being high with that stuff earlier, Hugh. I mean, that's only, it's not high for us because we've learned all this stuff. For some people that haven't learned all this stuff, probably the bar probably is high for them. And I think that's where we probably don't appreciate that, because we're looking at it from a different angle, and that's again where everyone's sort of different. Like we're talking about, our clients can be all different from one person to the next. Well, builders are going to be the same, aren't they? Because again, we're all just human beings at the end of the day. So we all look at things differently. We deal with things differently, approach things differently. So that's where it's good to get help along the way to get processes and things that work.
Yeah, definitely. And that help, especially when it comes to building, I guess you could say, you need to go to the professionals that do it every day.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
speak to them.
100%. Yep.
I'm not a mechanic, and I would never go near my car, and I just want a mechanic. I wouldn't waste my energy to fix anything, even a filter. That's just not me.
Now, how many mechanics have you been through to find the one that you've used at the moment?
Well, I'm in this country 14 years, so I probably went to 6 or 7.
Yep.
So it took me that time, and now I just bring my van, bang, every 10,000 kilometers, service it.
Yep.
And he doesn't even tell me what's going to cost anymore, because I have the trust there. And he just fixes it. And then he come up, he's like, Andy, 1,200. I said, yeah, no worries.
Yep.
He said, if I had a client like you every time, I'd be so happy. And I just like, yeah, because I trust what you're doing in the van is going to make sure you're doing the right thing. So there you go. So
there's that relationship.
Yeah.
That's the other thing that comes with time, doesn't it? You surround yourself with good people, and that if you've you've been through a lot of different trades or whatever the case may be over the years, when you get good guys, you look after them and stick with them, and that's where you make sure you can get everything right. But you can't do a cheap job. If people just want a cheap job, well, they're going to get the guys that are cheap. Whereas if we got good guys, we pay them good money, we get good results, and we get guys that stand by their work, and it's all a thing you develop over time as well, isn't it? So
100%.
Yep. And it's funny, like we'll even, as much as it does cost us time and in some cases liquidated damages, was sometimes we'll delay a job or we'll wait for that right tradie or supplier, because we know that we'll get exactly what we want, and we're not going to be doing rework, or we won't be having any issues or anything like that, because we've got the right person, the right team behind us to do it. But yeah, no, thank you very much, guys. Appreciate your time today. And I hope that everybody out there has gotten something from this probably not so short conversation.
Thanks for tuning in to Builders Beyond Borders. If today's episode helped you feel more prepared, clearer, or more confident, share it with a mate who's planning their own build or reno. Got a question about building, renovating, or working with tradies? Send it our way. We might cover it in a future episode. And don't forget to hit follow or subscribe so you never miss the real stories, practical tips, and builder insights we've got coming your way. Everything shared on this podcast is based on our experiences and those of our guests. It's general info only. Any reliance on the information provided is done at your own risk.